Persona 5 was already an astounding game with how it conveyed its major themes of rebellion and justice in its original release. However, Persona 5 Royal ended up adding content that would not only enhance this gameplay experience, but would enhance those aforementioned themes. The most significant change within Royal was the addition of Dr. Maruki in the third semester, the experience of which would reassert the themes of the game and has the player reassess the value of their journey throughout the game. It asks the player if their choices really matter and if it would be better to live in an idealized reality run by a benevolent ruler than to live in a less ideal reality where you're free to make your own choices. Let's dive into the character of Maruki at the start of the game to see where he comes from and where the justification for his actions in the third semester ultimately comes from. Maruki is first introduced after the incident with Kamoshida when he's brought in to be Sujin Academy's new counselor. Maruki gets to work introducing himself to Joker and the Phantom Thieves, trying to reach out to them to help them through their issues and to better understand what really happened with Kamoshida. Maruki's counseling is somewhat helpful to the various members of the Phantom Thieves, but is unfortunately steeped in Maruki's personal goal of eliminating pain from people's lives. The player learns more about Maruki's goal when they come to form a deal to help Maruki complete his research, which is ultimately in service of achieving the end of eliminating pain from people's hearts. In their first counseling session, Maruki seems to admire Joker's ability to overcome the hardships that he's been forced to endure, yet in later conversations it seems that Maruki wants to do more than to help people deal with their hardships. He tells Joker about a study involving the ways humans would value cookies, informing him that people's subjective perception of the cookie can make something ordinary into something wonderful and extraordinary. Maruki finds the human ability to construct more favorable realities by a change in perception amazing, but all of Joker's dialogue options are rather unconvinced about the validity of such a reality. Maruki eventually comes to tell Joker the origins of his desire to eliminate pain within people's lives, and talking about his fiance's tragedy. Her family was killed and she was injured by a burglar, which would destroy her emotionally. Maruki is enraged at the injustice of such pain being inflicted on her, and wants to change the world so that nobody would have to endure such injustice again. Then in his final confidant rank, Maruki reveals to Joker that he knows he's a Phantom Thief and that he's finished his research. He then tells Joker that he'll use his research to make his dream of eliminating pain a reality, and implies that he might get involved in Joker's life soon.
You have a strong moral compass, never losing sight of your own definition of justice. I'm more grateful than ever to have met a young man like yourself. Although it's not like this is the last time we'll see one another, still, thank you for everything up to this point.
After Maruki returns in the third semester, he as a character perfectly challenges the Phantom Thieves and their actions after the narrative climax of the original game, because they've effectively overcome injustice by staying true to themselves and have made life change for the better. The entire narrative payoff and purpose of the game is the struggle by which the Phantom Thieves come to succeed, and it's also what ultimately makes their bonds so strong. The new month and palace added to the game essentially create an idealized world that removes all the injustice that all the members of the Phantom Thieves encountered. And the moral dilemma that comes to present itself is that all of the Phantom Thieves are seemingly happier with their idealized and fabricated lives. However, all the members of the Phantom Thieves are slowly drifting apart because the struggle that allowed them to grow close to one another was completely erased. I think this conflict is best characterized when Joker has to go find his friends through the various areas of Tokyo with the calm yet eerie music of So Happy World playing in the background. It creates an isolating atmosphere that allows the player to tangibly see all the effects of Maruki's new reality. So is Maruki right in making his new ideal world, even though it invalidates the experiences that make people stronger? After finishing Persona 5 Royal, many players will be faced with a moral dilemma on whether or not Maruki was right. And while many people may have their own interpretations, I believe that the game seems to heavily insinuate that Maruki is wrong and accepting his ideal world is a sort of bad ending. One of the most consistent and important themes within the Persona franchise is that people have the power and will to search for high ideals like purpose, truth, and justice. And the only thing that helps each respective group come to understand such themes is the genuine connections that they make through overcoming life's struggles. By accepting Maruki's reality, the player effectively accepts a life of predetermined servitude where no individual can come to live life in any meaningful way because it was all fabricated for them. There's nothing to overcome and no ideals to strive for, because all of reality would be falsely idealistic. This is why in the ending where Joker doesn't even secure a route to Maruki's treasure, he simply lies in his bed in apathy, consigned to his fate of servitude. The Velvet Room's butterfly then dies, symbolizing the death of humanity's free will in Joker's decision to capitulate. Then, the ending where a player directly affirms Maruki's false reality seems to be more happy, yet in the final picture, Joker and Akechi look at the player, indicating that they are aware of the fake reality that they inhabit, and that they are dissatisfied with their newfound lack of agency. Akechi himself presents a direct alternative to Maruki in his absolute rejection of Maruki's fabricated reality, because he feels that it fundamentally undermines all the decisions that he has made in his life. While Akechi likely directly benefits from Maruki's reality by effectively being given a second chance at life, he still resists. When Akechi is fighting directly against Maruki and his Azathoth persona, Maruki tries to appeal to him like many of the other Phantom Thieves, but Akechi responds with a lot of hostility.
Akechi-kun, don't throw away your life. If you're with him and his friends, you can begin to atone for what you've done.
Enough of this high and mighty bullshit. You're pissing me off!
Akechi hates the fact that Maruki seeks to create a world that delegitimizes his choices simply because Maruki pities him for making what he believes to be the wrong choices. As I said in my Akechi video, Akechi realizes that the choices that he made in life were his alone, and that while his choices might have been flawed and unjust, he was able to live life in his own way. Sumire is another person who seemingly benefits from Maruki's reality, because she doesn't have to address the pain of her sister Kasumi's death, and while she may not have to address her trauma, she is repressed from being able to grow into the person that she ought to be. And if the player chooses to reject Maruki's offer, they'll find that Sumire's social link is focused on helping her grow as a person by accepting and learning to love herself for who she really is. Both Akechi and Sumire exemplify the flaws in Maruki's way of thinking and showcase his failings as a counselor. As a counselor, Maruki should be seeking to help give his patients the tools to navigate their lives in a healthy way, and to ultimately empower healthy decision-making. But Maruki ends up invalidating the decisions of others, such as Akechi, in his creation of a new reality and making others dependent on his crafted reality, such as Sumire. Maruki wants to protect people like Akechi and Sumire from random and unjust circumstances in life, but in doing so, he robs them of their opportunity to make real choices in life and keeps them from actually becoming anyone. His solution to life's hardships is simply running away. It's fitting that Maruki's power to change reality by removing pain from people's hearts first manifested when his fiancée was unable to move on with her life due to her trauma, because it shows exactly why he responds to pain in the way that he does. Maruki believes that a reality where people are happy and don't suffer any unjust misfortune is best, because he believes the randomness with which some people can face horrible unjust cruelty is unacceptable. He seeks to create an ideal world where the injustice never happened. In his first act of reality alteration, he blocks out Rumi's memories pertaining to the horrible event, but he also inadvertently removes himself from her memories. It's evident from Maruki's past conversations with Joker and with his friend Shibusawa that Maruki's relationship with Rumi was honestly a wonderful one, and by limiting the horrible pain that Rumi felt, he also took away the beauty of their relationship, and has to remove himself from her life forever to keep him from relapsing. And even after she couldn't remember who he was, his girlfriend still wanted him to be around, and she asked if he'd like to stay for a bit. But Maruki is too compassionate and decides that leaving her life is for the best, because it will ultimately keep her from feeling the pain that she had ever again. This event with Maruki resembles the fates of the Phantom Thieves if the player chooses to accept his reality. They will have had all their suffering removed from their lives, yet they'll lose the beautiful truth of them overcoming their struggles through forming genuine bonds. The true beauty of Maruki and the additional semester added to the game is that they challenge the player to think critically about the core idea within Persona 5 that people can rebel against injustice in a righteous way to create a more just world by providing a genuine argument against that core idea. Maruki ends up working perfectly as the final antagonist of the game because his viewpoint fundamentally challenges the meaning that the game imparts. It's fitting that both Joker and Akechi are the two who oppose Maruki most directly in the third semester, because they were players in Yaldabaoth's game of justice and survival. Ultimately, their will and choices are what allowed them to have any meaningful choices or growth, and if the player doesn't oppose Maruki, the whole game would be meaningless. And so Persona 5 Royal reaffirms all of the themes and choices of the game by reasserting that Joker and Akechi both rebelled against society in their own ways of justice and injustice respectively, and it was their choices in rebellion that made their journeys meaningful. And this seems to be the lesson that Maruki learns after being defeated by the Phantom Thieves, when he finally moves on from his dream of trying to help others escape from reality by facing his own struggles in life head-on and moving on through becoming a taxi driver.
If you find yourself struggling in life, you can start over, like me. Remember that. So yeah, if that ends up saving you, then we're square.
Thanks for watching my video. Be sure to let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and if you happen to enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe. Also let me know if you guys want to see more or less Persona content, because I've recently been playing a lot of it and would make videos on it if you all are interested. Thanks for watching, and until next time.